Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another electrifying episode of The View, where the hot topics sizzle and the conversations ignite like fireworks on a summer night. Today, the studio is buzzing with anticipation as our iconic co-hosts Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, Sarah Haynes, and Alyssa Farah Griffina gather around the polished table, their faces lit with that signature mix of curiosity, wit, and unfiltered opinion that has made this show a daytime television staple for decades. The audience, a vibrant sea of applauding fans in the brightly lit ABC studio in New York City, erupts into cheers as the theme music fades, signaling the start of what promises to be a segment packed with celebrity glamour and intellectual sparring. Whoopi, ever the commanding moderator with her resonant voice and no-nonsense demeanor, leans into the microphone and booms, "Good morning, everybody. We are thrilled to dive into today's hot topics, but first, we have a guest who needs no introduction, a man whose voice has narrated the annals of history, whose presence commands respect from every corner of the globe, and whose wisdom feels like a warm blanket on a chilly autumn day. Please welcome the legendary, the unparalleled, the one and only Morgan Freeman." The crowd roars, standing ovation style, as Morgan strides onto the set. His tall frame clad in a sharp navy blazer over a crisp white shirt, khaki slacks hugging his legs with effortless elegance, and those signature glasses perched on his nose, framing eyes that have seen the depths of human emotion through countless roles. At 86 years young, Morgan moves with the grace of a panther, his smile broad and genuine, waving to the audience as he settles into the guest chair opposite the panel, exchanging warm handshakes and quick hugs with each co-host. Joy Behar, the fiery comedian with her signature red hair and sparkling earrings, is the first to pipe up, her Brooklyn accent thick with excitement as she says, "Morgan, oh my God, look at you. You look better than half the men in this city, and twice as distinguished. We're honored to have you here promoting your new Netflix docuseries, Life on Our Planet." What a title. It sounds like it's going to make us all rethink our existence. Morgan chuckles deeply, that velvety baritone rumbling like distant thunder, responding with, "Joy, it's a pleasure to be back on The View. You ladies always keep me on my toes, and that's saying something after narrating the end of the world in a few films." The laughter ripples through the studio, light and easy, setting a tone of camaraderie as the cameras pan across the enthusiastic crowd, capturing wide grins and nodding heads. Sunny Hostin, the poised legal eagle with her elegant bob haircut and thoughtful gaze, chimes in next. "Morgan, your narration in projects like this is pure magic. Tell us, what drew you to this story about Earth's evolutionary tapestry? It's not just dinosaurs and oceans, it's a profound look at resilience." Morgan nods appreciatively, adjusting his glasses as he begins. "Sunny, you're absolutely right. Life on Our Planet isn't just a retelling of history, it's a celebration of tenacity. We've had 5 mass extinctions before, vast swaths of life wiped out by asteroids, volcanoes, climate shifts, but life always bounces back. And now, we're staring down the 6th, courtesy of our own hands." The panel leans in, intrigued, as Whoopi interjects with a raised eyebrow, "Hold up, Morgana, courtesy of our own hands? You're saying we're the villains in our own story?" The audience murmurs in agreement, the air thickening with the weight of impending depth, but for now, it's all smiles and set up, the perfect prelude to the storm that's about to brew. As the conversation flows, Sarah Haynes, the bubbly blonde with her infectious energy and quick wit, adds, "I love how you frame it as hope amid the doom." Alyssa, what do you think? Does this hit home for policy wonks like you? Alyssa, the former White House aide turned commentator, with her polished blonde waves and sharp insights, replies, "Absolutely, Sarah." Morgan's work reminds us that policy isn't just paperwork, it's about preserving the planetary bounce back for future generations. The segment rolls on, the hosts peppering Morgan with questions about the filming process, diving into crystal-clear underwater scenes, trekking through ancient fossil beds in Montana, consulting with paleontologists under starlit skies, each detail painting a vivid picture that has the audience hanging on every word. Joy, never one to let a moment pass without her trademark humor, quips, "Morgan, if I had your voice, I'd narrate my grocery list and win an Oscar for it." But seriously, How do you keep that gravitas when you're talking about trilobites? Morgan's eyes twinkle as he retorts, practice, Joy. Years of playing God in Bruce Almighty helps. The laughter swells again, but beneath it, there's a subtle undercurrent, a sense that Morgan's message carries more urgency than the light banter suggests. As the clock ticks, the hosts shift seamlessly, Whoopi steering the ship with, "We're going to take a quick break, but don't go away. Morgan Freeman is here, and we've got so much more to unpack about saving our world, one narration at a time." Commercials roll, but the energy lingers, the studio lights dimming slightly as crew members adjust mix, and the audience whispers excitedly about the icon in their midst. Back on air, the promo for Life on Our Planet flashes as stunning CGI recreations of prehistoric beasts roaming lush landscapes, narrated by Morgan's soothing timbre over sweeping orchestral score as teasing the epic scope that has Netflix executives buzzing. Joy, seizing the moment post-break, dives deeper. "All right, Morgan, let's get real. You mentioned those extinctions of 5 times life nearly ended, and now we're number 6. What keeps you up at night about this?" Morgan pauses, his expression turning grave, the room falling into a hushed anticipation as he leans forward, ready to drop the first pebble that will avalanche into chaos. The co-hosts exchange glances, sensing the shift from promotional fluff to profound prophecy, and the audience, sensing it too, quiets to a pin-drop silence, every eye locked on the man whose words have the power to move mountains, or in this case, to shake the very foundations of complacency. As Morgan begins to elaborate, his voice steady and resonant, "It's the indifference, Joy. We've got the science, the data, the warnings from experts worldwide, but we scroll past it like it's just another tweet." Sonny nods vigorously, "Preach, Morgan." As a mom, it terrifies me. What legacy are we leaving? The dialogue builds, layers upon layers of insight unfolding like the pages of an ancient tome, with Alyssa countering thoughtfully, "But hope lies in innovation, the renewables, carbon capture. It's not all doom." Sarah adds her optimistic spin, "And education, like your series, can spark that change." Whoopi, ever the balancer, summarizes, "Ladies, Morgan, this is why we love these talks, that they challenge us." Yet, as the minutes stretch, the undercurrent of tension simmers, Joy's brow furrowing slightly as she prepares her next probe, unaware that it's about to ignite the fuse. The studio's atmosphere is electric, the air humming with unspoken questions, the lights casting dramatic shadows that mirror the darkening tone of the discussion. Fans at home, glued to their screens over morning coffee, tweet furiously, "Morgan Freeman on The View." Iconic. This series sounds life-changing, pun intended. But in the studio, it's more intimate, the proximity allowing for those micro-expressions of the slight tilt of Joy's head, the deepening lines around Morgan's eyes that hint at the collision course ahead. As the conversation delves into specifics, rising sea levels swallowing island nations, wildfires scorching California's hillsides, coral reefs bleaching into ghostly skeletons, Morgan's passion ignites, his gestures more emphatic, his pauses heavier with implication. The audience, a diverse tapestry of women from all walks, teachers from Queens, executives from Manhattan, retirees with stories of their own, lean forward in their seats, absorbing every syllable like parched earth drinking rain. Joy, sensing an opening for her signature blend of humor and bite, interjects, "Morgan, you're scaring me more than my last blind date." But seriously, what can little old me do besides recycle and yell at politicians on TV? The chuckle that follows is polite, but Morgan's response hangs in the air, poised to pivot the entire exchange into uncharted, explosive territory. And just like that, the stage is set, the players in position, the curtain rising on the act that will leave jaws on the floor and hearts pounding. The conversation escalates as Morgan, his voice gaining an edge sharper than the script called for, counters Joy's quip with, "Joy, yelling is a start, but it's time we stop joking about the end and start facing it head on. This isn't entertainment, it's extinction knocking on our door, and we're too busy with celebrity gossip to answer." The studio gasps collectively, the audience's murmurs turning to stunned silence, as Joy's face flushes, her eyes widening in surprise at the sudden snap in tone from the usually unflappable Freeman. Whoopi attempts to mediate, "Whoa, Morgan, we hear you loud and clear. Joy is just keeping it light, you know how we do, but the damage is done. The air crackling with tension like static before a storm. Sunny jumps in. Morgan, elaborate how what specific actions from leaders like us on this panel can turn the tide? But Morgan, now fully ignited, turns his gaze directly to Joy. It's not about leaders alone, it's about influencers like you, Joy, who have platforms to educate, not deflect with one-liners that minimize the crisis. I've seen floods displace millions, species vanish forever. Don't tell me to laugh it off. Joy, never one to back down, fires back, her voice rising in pitch. Minimize? Morgan, I've been fighting for the environment since before you narrated your first blockbuster. But if we can't find joy in the fight, what's the point? Doom and gloom sells fear, not change. The audience erupts, so half cheering Morgan's gravitas, half defending Joy's resiliency, creating a cacophony that drowns out SAR's attempts to soothe. Guys, let's channel this energy positively. Alyssa, sensing the powder keg, adds, Joy's right, humor is a tool for engagement. Morgana, it's how we reach the masses. But Freeman, his jaw set, leans back, crossing his arms. Humor at the expense of truth is just noise, and we're drowning in it. This planet doesn't need laughs, it needs action. Now, the clash intensifies, words flying like sparks at Joy, accusing Morgan of preachy Hollywood elitism, him retorting with complacent punditry that coasts on controversy, the panel fracturing as Whoopi bangs her gavel prop. Time out. We're on the same side here, yet the heat builds, the camera capturing every bead of sweat on Joy's forehead, every furrow in Morgan's brow, the audience on the edge of their seats, phones out recording the unscripted drama unfolding live. Backstage whispers from producers filter through earpieces. Let it play. This is gold as the segment stretches beyond its allotted time, the commercial break forgotten in the frenzy. Fans online explode. Hashtags like #Morgan vs. Joy and #View clash trending within minutes, clips going viral as the world watches a titan of film collide with a titan of talk. The emotional underbelly reveals itself in Morgan's weariness from decades of witnessing societal inertia, Joy's frustration from years of being dismissed as the funny one in serious debate, Tessa turning personal, raw, unfiltered. Sunny tries to pivot, let's talk solutions from your serious rewielding, sustainable tech, but it's too late. The rift has opened, and Morgan, his voice booming with finality, declares, if we can't have this conversation without deflection, maybe it's time I take my message elsewhere. It's heard, not joked away. The studio falls deathly silent, then erupts in applause mixed with boos, a divided house reflecting the nation's own polarization on climate and culture. Whoopi, face pale, stammers, Morgan, we value your voice. Don't go there, but he stands, buttoning his blazer with deliberate calm. Thank you for the time, ladies. The planet can't wait for sound bites. And with that, he walks off, the door swinging shut behind him like a guillotine, leaving the panel in stunned disarray, Joy's mouth agape, tears welling as the reality sinks in. If this wasn't banter, it was a breaking point. The audience, frozen then frenzied, claps uncertainly as the hosts scramble to recover. Whoopi,